Hello, everybody. Can you hear me? Yes. Sorry to make you hush a little bit. How are we? Isn't it? As the young people say these days, the weather is weathering, isn't it? Like, my God, for a bit of drama. It's lovely. Really makes you feel alive. My name is Erica Drum, and I am a chef. Some of you might have seen me on 6 o'clock show. I cook, but I think my main role in life is a professional eater. And let's just say most of us here are as well. I think that's why we're all at Blas. And a big thank you, as always, to Artie and Fallon and, of course, Ali for giving us Blas, because it helps us eaters who like delicious food choose our favourites and the better ones and the ones that we love. But it also gives such a platform for producers in Ireland, and being Irish, I'm just so proud of what we create here, what people in this room are connected to and up on stage over the whole 4 days really. I'm delighted to introduce two amazing women beside me, and I'm going to talk to them a bit about being a producer and also being part of the Blas mentorship programme for the finalists. So Vivienne Gleeson is, it says on the internet, over 17 years. Would you say it's more than that?
Say over 70. Almost 20 years.
Almost 20 years.
Yeah.
Nice. Almost 20 years in PR, business consultancy, and, of course, a PR mentor on the mentorship programme. And then the wonderful Denise Buckley. Am I right in saying your partner, David, has a different surname? What's his name?
Cork.
Cork, yeah. They own the I'm losing my mind here. Sugar Plum Sweetery. We were just discussing, I was saying in Mullingar they have their very own Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, but it's Denise and the Chocolate Factory.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. So who knows the Dubai chocolate bar? We raise our hands. Yeah, that's pretty much all of us. And most of you would have tried, hopefully, and if not, you will get to do it today, the Sugar Plum one of it. And you've innovated so much. But we're going to talk a little bit about going viral, but also how we start our products, how life begins, I suppose, in terms of even before the product even comes to fruition. And then we're going to talk to Vivienne a little bit about how the mentorship program works and how you guys have worked together. So I'm really excited. There's going to be questions at the end and prizes for the best questions. So yeah, to keep taking note. If you see me looking down at my phone, I'm not texting my family. I'm checking my notes or on Instagram or whatever. So tell us a little bit about the start, because we all know, well, a lot of us here do know how amazing your brand is now, and it seems to be everywhere for us, which is great. But what was the beginning?
So I suppose we started and we opened our restaurant, Wholesome Kitchen, like over 5 years ago. And that's kind of like healthy, casual dining in Mullingar. And that's kind of the food that we all love. It's like just kind of Thai dishes and all that stuff, and kind of inspiration between like an Irish and a mix. And then I suppose my thing I'm quite a good healthy eater, but I'm obsessed with chocolate and sweets and all that stuff. So when we set up the restaurant, we set it up in, say, it was September, just before COVID. Then COVID hit in the March. So between that time, my husband had left his job and he was working solely in the restaurant, and I had a full-time job. So that was great in terms of, so then when you hit these hills, you're okay that we still had some income coming in. So then after, say, 2 years of that business, it came to it that it was nearly too busy just for one person to manage, that it probably needed another person. And because I was young and foolish at the time, I was like, do you know what? I need more than just a restaurant. Let's do something else crazy. So the dream was to create something. I wanted to create a chocolate brand that went back to simplicity, whether it was just nuts and chocolate or just really classic flavours, that they don't have to be overcomplicated for people. And that's kind of what I want to do with everything. So we kind of travelled around to see kind of what we liked, and say London is great, obviously Belgium, we went to New York, everywhere, to kind of get inspiration to kind of set up the business. And that's kind of where it came about, and we just started creating stuff. Then randomly a unit came, while we were looking to the gods for this, a unit came free just beside our restaurant, so it made total sense now. So we have our restaurant and then our Sugar Plum Sweetery and our Chocolate Factory, so both actually connect at the back. So we can share team and all that stuff as well, because when you start a business and it's very small, and yes, we had great team with Wholesome, like you literally just have to, every hour of staffing and all that costs count. So with them being connected, it gave us a lot more agility, that we didn't have 2 people in the shop every day. One was enough, and we could get cover lunch and all that stuff. So that's how it came about.
That's very clever. You said you were in a role while your husband started Wholesome. What was that job?
Yeah, so I worked in Kildare Village for 7 years. So my role started as kind of retail manager, and my background was kind of cosmetics. So before that, I worked 10 years for Brown Thomas. Same thing, just kind of department managers, and then bringing cosmetics and beauty. And then overall, it was just responsible for all the product and stock that came into Kildare Village. I was responsible for that to make sure it was kind of the best stock that you could get when you're there. So that all stands to you as well, and makes you a lot more resilient as well when you're going into business, because I think it was Stephen Bartlett I was listening to on the way down.
So was I.
Yeah, were you?
Which episode? Like you
Fangirling. Inflammation. I'm all about inflammation at the minute.
Okay. Inflammation?
Yeah, I'm just going through a phase of what you're supposed to do. But he was like, if you're a business owner, you know that like you're doing 50 jobs of somebody else in a normal role. So like that kind of sticks with you, because when you start, you literally have to know everything. And it's busy, and how hard I worked before, you don't realise until you're actually in the nitty-gritty of your own business of how much you need knowledge you need to know, and how many different pots and pans you need to be looking at as well.
And so all your years of experience, even though it's not food industry, there's so much that you can apply.
Totally.
Yeah.
And I even still ring people now and go, you need to be listening about margins, and you need to be doing this, like people that still work in the retail, because I'm like, some things, because you're in a certain funnel or a department, you only look at what's relevant, but like look at like licenses, look at this, like make sure you soak up all the information, because you just never know when something will become useful as well. So I always give people that feedback in any roles, just to make sure that they kind of understand as much as they can.
Amazing. I love that. That's so clever, isn't it? So even if you're in conception stages but still have a different career or a full-time career in something else.
Yeah.
I love that. Vivienne, tell us a little bit about the mentorship program and your role as the PR mentor for Blas.
Okay, so for all the finalists in Blas, there's free mentoring support. There's a limited number of spaces, but there's free mentoring support, be that with PR, with myself, social media, with Sharon Noonan, Annie Dunn, I think, is here, branding, and we have Malachy Quinn, we have business development. It's really good support there. Yeah, it's free, and it's supported by Taste for Success Skillnet Ireland. Bridie Cargan, if she's here, has been a huge support with that. And it was this vision that Artie and Fallon had, and now Ali Keeney's here, to not just be about the glass that you're receiving, that there's all this support behind, and that when you go and you've had this win, but also as a finalist, it's brilliant. So that you have the support for mentoring, that you go out there. If it's with branding, you need mentorship, or PR, you need, you know, what you do with this win, what you do with being a finalist, it's there. And through this vision that they had, that we entered an award last year, we're very proud of the fact as a panel, all of us as mentors on this panel, with Artie and Fallon and Ali and Bridie, we entered the awards for I think it was the best coaching and learning initiative in the Learning Development Institute.
So cool.
Yeah, Learning Excellence. And it won last year.
Cool.
And we're so proud. Yeah, because you hear the passion with Denise, you know, and to be able to support a producer like this, every producer, and I can give you a bit of my own background, but it's we're all driven by that. I think everyone who knows Artie and Fallon, Ali here, so much passion.
Yeah.
It comes from them and what they've built here, and that's.
Is that something you've always done then with brands like in food?
So my background is I'm PR. I've got almost 20 years, and I worked in PR agency, and I would have worked with global clients like United Airlines and Dr. Ucker Baking and their pizza brand, and I worked with domestic clients as well. But I moved out then in 2018 on my own as a consultant, but and by doing that, before I get to that, I grew up in a pub business. Yeah. And it's like what you were saying there, Denise. That is where I learned everything. I learned watching my mum and dad graft. And there was 5 of us as a family. And the challenges it brings, the challenges family businesses bring. But also, you know, the toilets could go. Or, you know, you have to think about insurance, and you have to think about staff, and you have to think about, there's so much, but also getting bums on seats. How do you do that? And the PR marketing kind of gets slipped down, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. But yeah, so for me, when I went out my own, I had this graw. I needed to get back into that with the PR and supporting owner-led, family-run businesses, because I had all these tools from learning from my PR agency and you know, in my PR experience. And how do I help those businesses get their strengthen their brand, get their message out, but easily demystify. A lot of people don't know what PR is. I want to get, what is PR? And demystify it, break it down. It's the long game. And just to make it easy, because I know how hard it is for producers. It's just really easy. So that's what I do with the mentoring program, break it down and using my experience in the PR world and keeping it really simple for the business owner about how to develop a strategy in PR and make it easy.
I love how Vivienne and I are friends, so I see her a lot, and I know how passionate and excited you are, almost to match the excitement of the producer themselves, which is just incredible. It's what all of us here at Blas family love, is to help and encourage. So
yeah, and I see too here, Cliona and Orna from Pizza PR. I work at Pizza PR, a gorgeous family brand. I've worked with Sarah and Cashel Farmhouse Beef for their 40th anniversary last year. There's so many people I have the privilege of working with, and it is what was said in the last. I think Eunice Power said it. You know, people buy from people they like, or in around that way. She was saying, and that's the essence. If you have that passion, you have that genuinity, and the love for what you do, people know, they see that. So you tell your story, and the rest follows. Yeah.
Yeah, but you need the help to tell the story.
Yeah.
So when you started this chocolate factory, which is just so exciting, isn't it? It's a kid's dream, right? Get the healthy food at lunch, and then your cup of tea, and you can have your chocolate. But you won, obviously, you got finalist awards, and you entered the program.
Yeah.
And you got PR mentorship and other mentorship, of course.
Yeah.
Tell us a bit about the PR mentorship and how that helped with your viral sensation.
So I suppose when it came up when we won an award, and that was something that was on offer, like, why not sign up to everything? So it's just so important. So obviously Vivienne was down, so I absolutely got that. And then there's a couple of more mentors, but like, you're just, even, it doesn't matter how much knowledge you have, you're going to learn something from everybody. So like, twice we've obviously been finalists, and so we've got like 4 sessions of mentorship, and it's just been so good. So anyway, won the award this time, say 2 years ago, and then as Vivienne touched on, it's the long game. So then I just rang, hey, I'm opening Arnott's in 3 weeks. I know it's a long game, but can you help me with like this, and can you help me with that? And she's like, right, okay, but PR, it really is, it's like, the long game and getting the roots. And I was like, yeah, but I've never done a press release before. And we helped. So literally, we practically did the whole mentor in probably the first week. We literally were on the phone all the time. But you just don't know where to start when something like that comes up. Like, look, it would have taken me hours to figure it out and just kind of sending it on and then getting it back and forth. But like, I suppose it was just amazing for me at that time, because we got that. Then we figured out kind of like the press side of it. I got kind of featured on the Irish Times. I got like Barbara Parr interviewed me as well. So like, Vivienne, I just left her. It's on in an hour. What do I say? What do I do? So like, all of that stuff came from. So, and like you had touched on, she's just so passionate. So like, she's always just texting, going, hey, I've just seen this, or well done, or what about this person, or whatever. So like, it's amazing to have that. And because when you start a business, you really just don't have any money for things like that. So like, I know there's great things when you get on a bit that you can get retainers and like sign up to have somebody helping with marketing, but that's not the reality when you have a really small business with 6 team members. So you have to do everything yourself. So you can't be an expert at everything. So it was amazing to be able to get that support, especially at that time.
Yeah, that's what I love that. So you've gotten the Irish Times article, and from that, didn't it stem into more press, because people were cotton on to this, what they were seeing on their phones coming from abroad, and now you have an Irish version of the bar that they can buy.
Yeah, so we also then were finalists last year, and then I rang Vivienne for more crisis talks, so she helped me through the next crisis in the business. But as we were talking probably this time last year as well, I was kind of explaining about the viral bar, and like, was this, and we're going to test it, and we could make X amount. And she's like, what? And we were looking into it, researching it. Then we met at Gifted, and we're still having the conversation. I was like, it's really busy with the bar, like, but I was like trying to keep it quiet to make sure that we're maximising it and all that stuff. So, and then obviously, I think it generally kicked off was March of this year, of when we really hit the nail on the head. So we were trending already on TikTok, so everybody was sharing the content, and there was the famous snap. So everyone is doing it naturally, and it was mad that people were coming to us going, can we get the bar? Like, before you're sending out press boxes to everybody, all that stuff, it was completely the opposite. So people were begging us, and we had to nearly say, we need to rein it in now, we need to calm it down, because customers obviously had to come first and all that stuff. So, and then we obviously had an Irish Times article, and that was kind of back to a PR perspective as well. Like it's kind of the classic way of being in press in the paper that really kind of drove it and expanded it for us as well. And it just literally just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger from there.
Yeah, I think from there you got the call from Drive Time.
Yeah, exactly.
On the Irish Times.
Yeah.
That's the manifesting. And just to go back on that you did ring me and go, I need help now. I do a 7-point plan, and I go through in the mentoring, there's 3-hour sessions or 3 1-hour sessions.
3 hours.
So it was a bit longer
We
than
all
that.
know of it.
So, yeah, and but it is about looking at like where are you coming from, where are you going, what do you want, and what are your goals, what are you trying to achieve this year? Are you launching a bar, or are you celebrating a milestone? What is that? Then bringing it back to what are your key messages? What are the most things you want your audience to know about you? Really think about that and identify it, and then who are you saying it to, where are they, and then how you implement that plan. A lot of businesses will say, I touched on this earlier, it's a luxury to have PR, or it's it's a cost that they can't really justify at this moment. But I tell you now, when you do it really well, and you do it strategically, it's the most cost-effective thing you'll do for your business, for building your brand and getting that visibility and credibility out there. But do know the basics before you do it, so. And when you're briefing a PR consultant or a agency, that I help you with those, what are you looking for and how to brief the agency and what you're trying to get out of it, if that's where your needs are. But I do it based on capacity. So we did talk, and how about staff? Can you manage this when there's a lot of orders coming in, and how do you do that? So what kind of PR are you looking for? Or do you need to talk to your trade, or do you need to talk to your retailers, your staff? How you communicate with staff. PR isn't just all about the press, and I know we'll talk about that again. But that's what we come to when I'm working with. I think it's over 30 now. I've worked with, but it's finding how you do that, and then implementing that plan, and always measuring what you're doing. So I do go through that with clients. How do you measure what you're doing? How is it working? What's working? What's not working? So you can tweak it a little bit.
Yeah, I love that. So, for your situation, and together you are obviously working, you were at a moment where you actually didn't want any more PR because you couldn't keep up.
I take everything. I take everything. I don't know when to stop.
Did 6 turn into 30? When did the shit hit the fan? Excuse me.
The shit hit the fan after the article, because then I was on 5 or 6 radio stations all within the week. And then Irene's here from Leah Westmeath, which was unbelievable in terms of the support that we got. So we extended, so we extended our kitchen, and I was literally on radio stations, and somebody was breaking down the office wall because we had a bit of plastic up, and I was like, just 5 minutes until I finished this radio interview. That's how bad it was.
Wow.
That really. So then we extended our kitchen, so we've no office now, but we extended the kitchen just to keep up with it.
Wow.
But you just have to. What is that? Make hay while the sun shines.
Yeah.
You don't get these opportunities, and especially for a small business. So we had to run. So we still run at we do 24 hours a day making chocolate. So we can still do our current unit. We got loads of more equipment, and we got grants for that as well. So that helped us. So we have a lot more team. We've better equipment. But we wouldn't have been able to do that. I know the money was coming with orders, but we just had to increase and expand as quickly as possible.
Wow. So you're still making chocolate 24 hours a day?
Yeah, we do, yeah.
Amazing.
Because we want to stay in that building, so it's important for us. So instead of going and changing and moving, it's great for us. We just have to run at different times.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's really exciting, isn't it? So has it plateaued then at this point?
No, so it hasn't plateaued. So,
so
which is a good
delicious,
complaint, because I think that's what everyone's like, once it's viral, what happens? But I suppose now we need to be more innovative. We need to keep launching products. I bought stuff for you to try, but we launched last week Dubai frogs. We've launched, there's a collection of 8 bars within the Dubai Thick Star range. We've got loads of exciting stuff for Christmas. And it's also helped for in Blas this time last year, I met Anya from Avoca, which was a massive thing for us as well. We weren't in there before, so that connection has helped us. So all of these guys now have our product, and that's increasing our business overall. So it's not just our shop, and it's not just our website. We've loads of different ways for income to come in. So we've been consistent consistent now, so which is great.
Amazing. I
Yeah.
love that. Why frogs? Just curious. Like, no offense, I love them.
Why not? I just didn't want to make a salted caramel bar, so why not put salted caramel to a frog? And that's where it came from. But our business is connected with like Harry Potter and like
Okay.
Home Alone and Sugar Plum Sweetery is like from the Nutcracker and Christmas. So everything, even the music in the shop, is connected back to John Williams and all that stuff as well, who's done loads of stuff like with, say, Star Wars and all that. So everything needs to be connected back to magic and Christmas and like just kind of really cool classic movies as well.
Play and fun. I
Yeah.
love it.
Playing fun.
What were we talking about? The what? The dolls that people
Oh,
have
the
in their
Labubus.
bags.
Yeah.
Does anyone have one on their bag here? Anyone under the age of 5 have one? No.
Well, we're making one in chocolate, okay? So don't worry, I'll have that covered. 3 weeks until launch.
Adds a bit more value to it because you get to eat it then.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that. That's exciting as well. So that's like
Totally.
Yeah, looking at opportunities.
fun and
Yeah.
playful and on trend, viral. Another viral thing that you wouldn't expect
Yeah.
someone to make chocolate from.
Yeah.
That's genius. I really do. I think
Yeah,
we
so
are
we're
trying
doing
to-
that now as well, just because the appetite's there. We're obviously changing the packaging and changing the size of it before we goes, and we can launch it kind of throughout Ireland. But for now, it's just in the shop. But like, there's literally like hundreds of people coming every weekend to come and get the Labubu. So it's the same thing that you can't get online. So everyone's like, when's it go? So like, we get at least 20 messages a day asking when it's going to launch. So it's great
Cool.
now. So we just need to keep being innovative. It's really important.
So
Yeah.
they can get it in Mullingar. They have to
Yeah.
go to the shop to get it.
Yeah.
And that's very exciting, isn't
Yeah.
it? But in the future, they'll be able to get it in Avoca or online or whatever else.
Yeah, because we're great because we can turn things around, but we have to work on packaging. But the lead time for everything, even when you're in Ireland, is a long time. So we need to start, and also we need to test the product
Yes.
with our customer in our shop first, and then we can launch further. So it's good. We can still do it, test it, and then we can just push it out then.
I love that. It's obviously social media has a huge connection because they're taking the pictures surely of this.
Absolutely, yeah.
doll. But
And actually, on that, we were in touch because I don't know if anybody here listens to Vogue and Joanne,
Oh yeah.
and I think Vogue's obsessed with them, and now Joanne is now obsessed with them. So I was like,
Get
Send
on.
them
Yeah,
oh, that would be
they'd
the dream.
love it. Are you coming in? Oh no. Go on.
Q&A.
Oh, Q&A. We have to go. Sorry. Oh, yeah, we're timing. I just wanted to finish really quickly
Yeah.
before. There's so many questions, and obviously, I'm sure the ladies will answer any that anyone has afterwards as well. But in terms of PR, we see a lot of this, and I'm very lucky and grateful I get these press drops, the PR drops. But it's not just about influencers and social media. And a lot of us might think it is nowadays because we see this, we see the experience that people are having, or they're going to invites, or they're getting the box in their house and it's singing a song when you open it or whatever else, which is great. But you tell me that there's the traditional method is still really important, and there's bits we don't know about.
Yeah, it goes back to the long game. At the end of the day, you need to know what you're saying, who you're saying to, and when you're saying it. So PR is all your community, all your stakeholders. It's not just the media, very important aspect, but it's your staff, it's your buyers, it's your retailers, it's everyone, your family members, letting them know. PR is about your communication, what you're doing to your publics.
Yeah.
So having that right and knowing what you're saying to the right people. So to your consumer, it's going to be a little bit different to your staff, you know. And also, this is something that, as finalists, when you're if you're in a position where you have a shop and you have a product that's been a finalist, it's to let your staff know. So when customers come in, you know, you're letting them know. They can now depart that information to say, you know, this was a gold or this was silver, bronze, finalist, the Boston Heron. That's another stakeholder
Amazing accolade.
to help build the sales. So yeah, it is the long game with PR to get your brand, your visibility, your credibility out there, telling your story, making sure you have that story when you meet people. You're in this great environment this weekend now. You're going to meet so many people. What is it you want to say? We had a great panel before, talking about how they all work together, collaborating. Yeah, so there are so many ways. It isn't just about the journalists getting the press jobs. It is very important, I will say, to get the product into the media's hands, and that they do, and you are communicating with them, and keep an eye. Do reach out to the journalists and tell them your story and of your news.
Yeah, and a lot of them here this weekend.
Yeah, you know, and make sure you keep in touch with them. Dee, that one there with the microphone.
He's actually going to do our Q&A, guys. And just so you know, there are 5 chocolate bars. Connor Spacey, you're not allowed to enter because you'll eat them in about 3 seconds.
And
5
you can
chocolate
sample
bars.
some of these as well now.
And
I
there's gonna
ate
be
some of them on the way
samples going
down,
around.
so sorry, there's not many left in that box.
So look at these, like designed somewhat like Willy Wonka, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
So Dee, let's get some questions in, and we can give some of these.
Hands up if you have a question. Anyone?
A few.
Oh, yay!
You can open all them as well. There's loads.
What was the one thing that you felt has made your business success? And what was the one thing that you would avoid, you know?
Well, definitely it was just jumping on trends and kind of maximising on, say, TikTok at that time, coming into Ireland and all that stuff. So that was definitely something that transformed our business. What would we avoid? I suppose it's just, I think when I'm doing talks or anything like that now, I just be honest, like business is not easy. And I think when you're either small or you're big and in the medium kind of area, it's very hard because you kind of nearly need to be making a lot of turnover to have a lot of team to be able to kind of actually expand. So I suppose you can't, I don't really avoid anything because you have to try every single thing. So I suppose it's just to make sure, I suppose margins and costs and all that stuff, you just can't underestimate because you can just run out of road very, very fast. And I think that's the most important thing that, and then also before you open to make sure the business is viable, that you're not going to end up not making money. So that's not a great place to be in. And like we all go through it as well. And you have to put down a certain amount of time or years to go, look, we're not going to make money, but that's a tricky one as well to try and keep motivated. But yeah, so I think definitely understanding prices, costs, margins, all that stuff to make sure that you're not going to lose money and then the business just becomes not viable.
Great one. Love that.
Question. Any other questions? Yep. Hi. It's just with regards to marketing. Do you budget? So when you're sitting in 2026 ahead of you, are you putting money aside for the hidden costs of how we're strategically mapping out and telling everybody about our Labubus? Like, is there a price point to all of that?
Absolutely not. My husband just does it and we probably do it in the evening. So like we really aren't, like we're still such a small business and like we literally just do everything because even when I talk to brands and stuff and they're like, put me in contact with your marketing department, it's literally my husband. So like I'm just going, yeah, no problem. And I'm like this, just get on the phone, like, you know, he's literally just beside me. So we don't, we just need to make sure, and what we've moved around is like money that we would have put towards marketing in a certain way last year might have moved to creators on TikTok this year, or depending on what's bringing in different money for us, that's what we would do. But like sometimes you just make the call and you can be doing like ads on Meta and they might work and they might not work, but sometimes we'll kind of push TikTok. We're definitely pushing TikTok a lot more this year than we would have been last year, put it that way. But we're not that organised.
There is a panel coming up with Sharon about the
TikTok shop.
The TikTok.
She said the TikTok.
Right, TikTok shop. So that will be really, all the panels are interesting today, but it's a really
I definitely
need it
want
in your
a
life.
frog. Are there any frogs left? Frog. Really need to try a frog. There's 3 more bars. I know we're in a hurry, but
yeah.
Questions? Anyone?
short questions.
No.
Yes, well done.
Obviously, continuous innovation is really important for your business.
Totally.
Where's your like greatest source of inspiration that you would get your ideas from?
Social media, really. So like you can just, and then obviously your algorithm will bring in stuff, but like literally that, because it's the fastest way. Like we absolutely have to travel, and that's really important because you'll just find there's so many amazing cafes. Like I love just going and looking for cafes when I go on holidays and all that stuff. So you'll just find innovation everywhere, but the fastest way when you're working in a busy environment is to actually just keep looking and scrolling and content and all that stuff. So it's definitely, and like say Harrods like has a whole chocolate floor, like it's unbelievable. So like that's somewhere that we would spend a lot of time, too much time. But yeah, just traveling and then just social media, really, that's it. It's the fastest and most effective way.
Yeah, and I think we talked about that as well. As you do have to put time. I know you're saying in the evenings, but if you can take an hour of the week, whether it's the top of the week or the end of the week, just to think about what you're doing next week, what you can talk about, social media, no, it's time consuming. If you don't have a person on the team who can help it, and you're doing it, your husband,
Yeah.
you know, take that time to plan out what is happening over the next month and what days you want to say what you're doing.
And then just on the social media, we obviously with the restaurant, we just have somebody that was working full time, and now she's gone part time because she's gone to college. But now she helps us with social media. So like sometimes you just need to find somebody, and we'll be looking, going, oh, why don't you test taking photos? So we just find people within our business that have it. So
Who are savvy with it.
yeah, and it's not going to cost the world because like they're not. That's not what they're trained in. But like that's what you have to do to as a small business to make money, because you just can't afford sometimes a huge amount for that. So you have to just find other places. But like people are on social media all the time at like 20, 25 years of age, so they're perfect for getting them in and just taking content for you now.
They're also more connected with your brand
Oh,
than
yeah.
a social media agency that you'd hire, right?
Yeah.
Like they're invested. They,
Totally.
they
They're
love
living
it,
in
they love
it.
you, they live in it.
Yeah.
I think that's a really
And people
really
are
great
happy
thing.
then to jump in front of the camera, whether it's people in the chocolate factory or whatever, because they know them. So
Yeah.
it's a bit more natural as well. But yeah, like that's just really important because it's not going to break the bank. And even if it's good, middling, it's still something and it's great content. You just have to be posting all the time to kind of keep sales going.
Yeah, that's hard. Love it. I know we have to finish. I'll give those bars out just before anybody else licks them. Here we go. Do you? I'll give you those, will I? Pass them down to the ladies then. Thanks a million. Is that it then? We can't do any more. Okay. Well done.
Thank you so
I
much.
could ask you questions about chocolate all day.
Yes.
You see it in the shops, buy it.